So a New York man had died just weeks after finally winning the lottery. Now, this is 50-year-old New York resident Donald Savastano, and he had recently won the New York Lottery's Merry Millionaire game and had won a total of $1 million. Now think about that, like $1 million. So this guy is like, yes, I'm on top of the world. I actually won the lottery. Wonderful. Now, before he won, he was a self-employed carpenter and just a regular hardworking person, right? So when, of course, he won the lottery, he was ecstatic, as most of you would be. In fact, he said, this is going to change our lives, to tell you the truth. So, yes, and that's true. Like, yeah, look, I'm sad. I can finally retire. I can take a vacation. I can even buy a new truck. Look, my life's looking up. It's fantastic. So he picked up that money and he planned to do all these things. But first, he decided he was going to finally go to the doctor, right? So the problem with him is that he was uninsured. So being a self-employed carpenter, jobs were difficult to pick up. And of course, health insurance is very important. So obviously no insurance through work. And despite the ACA actually, being there, the private market is still really, really expensive. And so not everybody can afford insurance. Now, he'd been feeling ill for a while, so he decided, I'm going to take my winnings and I'm going to go to the doctor. I'm going to get a checkup. Well, that's when they found it. Daniel Scott, who works at the store where Savastano had bought his winning ticket, told reporters that he had a friend come talk to me and told me that he was very sick and that he had both brain and lung cancer and that he was in the hospital and they didn't think he was going to make it. So he goes to the hospital. Finally, after all this time, after years of not being able to afford the doctor's office, he goes there, he gets checked out, and they find out he has cancer. Jesus, that is a bad break. And it didn't end well for him. Savastano died 23 days after winning the lottery. Scott said, quote, I was hoping that money was maybe going to save his life. And unfortunately, it was way, way too late. Now, look, I do my share of depressing stories on this show. But this one, I think this one is especially heartbreaking. I mean, here's a guy who finally got a break. $1 million, right? Working all his life, working hard. Finally makes it. Yes, I won $1 million. But then finds out too little too late. Because all the money in the world couldn't have saved his life. It was just too late. And you know what might have actually saved his life? If he had been able to get to the doctor soon enough to diagnose and treat that cancer. What was stopping him? The fact that he couldn't. He didn't have health insurance. Couldn't afford it. And despite feeling sick for a while, the guy kept working because, hey man, bills aren't going to pay themselves. Got to pay the bills somehow. America is the only country in the world where this happens, where people die from lack of preventative health care. This is why we need a better system. This is why we need Medicare for all. Now, I'm not saying 100% that this would have saved his life. But nobody should have to wait until they win the lottery in order to be able to afford health care. That's insane. That's insane. It's an insane system. But here in America, we have accepted that as normal and usual. Now, good thing is that's changing. Over 60% of Americans want a Medicare for all system. Now, is Congress going to do that? Absolutely not. Not the current Congress that we have. But, look, there are people out there, as evidence of that actively fight against healthcare for everybody. Look, I probably get comments on this video. I've had comments on videos before. I don't want to pay for your healthcare. Even if it means it costs you less money, which a Medicare for all system does, just the fact that any money goes to someone else is enough to turn people off. That is insane. That's barbaric. And people from other countries that have single payer, They look at our system, they go, well, how could you even let your own people die because they can't afford to pay for healthcare? We've never had that problem. We don't have that problem. Everybody can go and get healthcare. And sometimes there's a very small copay. Sometimes there's no copay at all. Because we take care of our own people. We make sure that everybody can get healthcare and preventative healthcare, which does save more money. Think about it if this guy had got in years earlier. They might have caught it in its beginning stages and might have been able to treat it. But stage 4 cancer, finding out when you have stage 4, because that's the only time that you were able to actually go to the doctor, that is awful. We can do better. And look, unfortunately, there's a lot of people in this country that don't have any empathy. We could have Medicare for all. It's not that we don't have money. It's not that we can't do this. We just don't have the political will to put in a system that's actually going to save people's save money, but not to save money, but save people's lives. And give people health care so that things like this don't have to happen. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent progressive media, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/TYTNation.